Hi, welcome back to Unit 3 Punctuation. This is Lesson 5 Apostrophes. You'll find this information in your textbook on pages HB 91 through HB 94. Is this you by any chance? Well, I'm here to help. A lot of people are confused about when to use an apostrophe, and so they tend to throw them around like confetti or like Oprah giving away stuff. You get an apostrophe, and you get an apostrophe. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the rules that prevent apostrophe abuse. Apostrophes have two superpowers. They show possession and contractions. That's it. That's all apostrophes can do. They cannot make anything plural ever under any circumstances. Let's take a look at the apostrophe's first superpower, possessives. Use an apostrophe to make a word possessive, as in Daniel Craig's eyes, someone else's problem, or the children's playground. In most cases, you can just add an apostrophe S to make a singular noun possessive. In this sentence, the challenge now will be filling the park seats, and apostrophe S has been added to park to show the seats belong to the park. In Plato's Phaedrus, Socrates bemoaned the development of writing. Here, the apostrophe S has been added to a proper noun ending in an O to show that Plato wrote the book Phaedrus. When a singular noun already ends in an S, you can usually still add the apostrophe S, as in this sentence. Bill Gates' philanthropic efforts focus on healthcare and education. Sometimes that extra S makes pronunciation awkward, and in those cases, it's okay to add the apostrophe without the extra S, as in Euripides and George Saunders. It's also okay to add the S. This is one of those times when both ways are acceptable. Singular possessives are pretty straightforward. Plural possessives, though, are a bit trickier. For a plural noun that doesn't already end in an S, like men, women, and children, add the apostrophe S just as we did with singular possessives. Are women's minds different from men's minds? Most nouns, though, are made plural by adding the S, like neighbors. For these, just add the apostrophe without adding another S. The neighbor's complaints about noise led the club owner to install soundproof insulation. The S on neighbors makes it plural. The apostrophe makes it possessive. So what about those pesky singular nouns that already end in S, like Gates, or as in this example, Strauss? First, make it plural by adding the ES. We absolutely don't want three S's in a row. That's why it's ES instead of just S. Once the singular Strauss becomes the plural Strausses, just add an apostrophe to make it possessive, like the Strausses' home. Remember, it's not the apostrophe that makes it plural. It's the ES. The apostrophe only makes it possessive. Personal possessive pronouns don't need an apostrophe because they're already possessive. These are mine and ours, yours, his, hers, its, and theirs. The graduates let out a cheer as they tossed their hats in the air, and later got a good chuckle when the valedictorian accidentally stepped on hers. We have two possessives in this sentence and not a single apostrophe in sight. Let's take a quick sidestep and look at its. Does it need an apostrophe or not? None of the possessive pronouns need an apostrophe, including its. My car is parked in its assigned spot. When it's in a contraction of the words it is, use the apostrophe. It's a day that ends in Y, so of course we're talking about grammar. Indefinite pronouns, like something and everyone, are like singular nouns. Add the apostrophe S to make them possessive, like Clarabelle was everyone's favorite clown. Yeah, not really, because clowns are creepy. When one thing belongs to two or more people together, add the possessive to the last noun only. Carlson and Ventura's book is an introduction to Latino writers. Both Carlson and Ventura are the book's writers, so the possessive is added only to Ventura. One book, one possessive. When two people own two separate things, like heart transplants, they each get a possessive. Jan's and Owl's heart transplants inspired me to become an organ donor. Two transplants, two possessives. Compound nouns consist of more than one word, like Surgeon General. In that case, make the last word possessive. The Surgeon General's report persuaded many people to stop smoking. And while this is a bit of a tangent, it's relevant, so I'm going to tell you about it anyway. Surgeon General apostrophe S means there is one Surgeon General and the report belongs to her, or him, or them. Surgeons General means there are several people who are all Surgeons General. Surgeons General apostrophe S means there are several Surgeons General and they possess something. There's actually only one Surgeon General, so you won't run into this exact example, but this rule applies to attorneys general and mothers-in-law and passers-by. The apostrophe's second superpower is contractions. This apostrophe shows where letters have been omitted from a word, like can't and don't. I've learned that sometimes friends and business don't mix. I've is a contraction of the words I have, so the apostrophe goes between the I and the VE. Don't is a contraction of do not, so the apostrophe goes between the N and the T. That's it. That's everything an apostrophe can do. Now let's take a look at what it can't do. Plurals are the apostrophe's kryptonite. No matter how hard we try to make an apostrophe pluralize a word, it just won't work. It's time to stop the apostrophe abuse, people. Because every time you use an apostrophe to make a word plural, a puppy dies. There are some situations in particular that lend themselves to apostrophe abuse, like numbers. To make a numeral plural, just add an S. The winning hand had 3 8s, no apostrophe. We were astonished to hear Grandma Eleanor say she loved the 1950s. Just add the S, no apostrophe. For nouns that are abbreviations, like TV for television, just add the S. How many TVs does the average American family have in its home? This sentence has a bonus possessive pronoun its and no apostrophes. No need to get all crazy. Sometimes we talk about words as words, like in this sentence. The resolution passed when there were more ayes than nays. When we're talking about words and the words are plural, they're not possessive, so don't add the apostrophe. To pluralize letters, italicize the letter, but not the S ending, like ABCs. I avoid pluralizing lowercase letters because it's confusing. Some scholars allow using an apostrophe to pluralize lowercase letters, as well as capital A's and capital I's. I'm a bit of a purist, so I totally disagree. In this sentence, we'd need mostly A's or A's and B's to get in. If you think the meaning is unclear, just rewrite it to say something like, we'd need to be A or AB honor roll students to get in. See how much easier that is? Be sure not to use apostrophes with plural nouns that are not possessive, like both cellists played encores. Avoiding that apostrophe just saved a puppy's life. Don't use apostrophes with possessive pronouns like ours and yours. Save an apostrophe, save a puppy. Take a look at this beautifully carved rock that might as well be a puppy's tombstone. Why is this apostrophe abuse? If you said the stonemason was trying to make the word Warners plural, but instead made it a singular possessive, you'd be right. So this rock belongs to only one of the Warners who live here. That seems kind of selfish, doesn't it? How about pies and burgers? Pies can own a food truck, but burgers can't? That's burger discrimination and apostrophe abuse. The Jefferson owns both Dale and Judy. Clearly, the Jefferson is a slave owner. Besides owning people, which is illegal, the Jefferson is also guilty of apostrophe abuse and puppy murder. This one little sign weaves a tragic tale of immorality. I am not buying a sign from anyone who throws around apostrophes like this. And they have the nerve to call themselves professional? That professional deserves quotation marks. At least a sign is not permanently inked into your skin. What kind of a tattoo would you expect from this guy? Maybe one like this? Yeah, nothing lasts forever except this travesty. And finally, we have a possessive pronoun standing in for a contraction. It might just as well have said, "Baby, her cold outside." At least this one's not scrawled on anyone's forearm in 1-inch black ink. In Lesson 5, we tackled how to use an apostrophe to make singular and plural possessives, how personal possessive pronouns are possessive without the apostrophe, and the rules for showing joint and compound possession. We studied contractions, which require an apostrophe, and plurals that never ever take an apostrophe. The puppies of the world thank you for your kind attention and ask that you check Canvas for apostrophe quizzes because you know I've assigned some. If you have any questions, drop me an email to either of these addresses, or better yet, both. Thanks for stopping by. Slides Carnival and Unsplash are awesome. They create fabulous templates and then share them free for folks like me. I'll see you next time for Lesson 6, Other Punctuation.